do. So this is part of the how. So please hear me. Okay, please hear me. Part of the how with anything and everything I share with you here, but also in the workshop that I'm inviting you into. Part of what I'm sharing now and we'll share throughout our time here together is a workshop. It's called Heal, Sex, Shame. There's actually 3 workshops, and one of them is called Heal, Sex, Shame. So one part of the how of healing sexual trauma is first becoming highly observant of yourself without judgment. So this is part of what I started to do. And part of what helped me do this, I want to add a piece here, is I'm chosen. I know that sounds so corny for me to say. I feel kind of corny even saying it. What I've found though is because so many of us are in hiding and are cloaked, we don't find each other. Or we'll live in this sort of, it seems like it, or lack of power of one's awareness of who they are and moving accordingly. This is such this is tied to a bigger problem of the reason why all these systems in the world has the strength, the reason why the world is collapsing, aside from the fact that new earths are pushing to be reborn, the reason why it's gotten to such a state of emergency worldwide is because the folks who are of actual power with codes are cloaked, hiding, afraid, playing small. And we are in such amnesia and terror around our planetary power and ability to literally shift the grids of planets. We are so far removed from our vast power. So now we're mad at the government and now our daughters are getting raped and women worldwide because the ones who are coded a particular way have been told to cloak, hermit, hide, be scared. They're here to kill you, mob you. Okay. All right. So anyway, we are now this is why I declare, and I just started doing this, and I'm not going to do this all the time. I don't need to be loud and proud. I'm only doing that because I'm on this live stream with you here right now. Okay? I'm not out in my everyday life walking around talking about, I'm chosen, I'm coded, I have da. But I've also made the agreements and I have bowed to what I'm here for, so I'm covered in a particular way. Most of you are, so many, I won't say most, but so many are not truly spiritually attuned. They're not in true, the pristine obedience. Like, this is so serious. You cannot be having certain people ejaculating you. You can't be making even small agreements. You got to break binds that you made when you was in your ignorant, amnesia state. There's just so many things you got to do to clean yourself up to get into complete accord, and that covers you in a way that a man never could. Those of you who are talking about a man who won't protect you, okay, let's say you got a wonderful man who protects and provides. What if he gets killed? Where does that leave you? See? Anyway, so I just went off on a little bit of okay, now let's come back to this. It is so important that you pay attention to what's happening with you without judgment. So one of the things that I started to do is I started to notice subtle things. And part of what helps me start to I'm speaking as if past tense, start to pay attention to subtle is I make the decision that I'm going to pay attention to the subtleties of me. Not everything that's obviously who I am and how I move, not my normal ways, not the subtlety, the easy to miss, the things that happen so immediate and it's just so normal in my world that I miss it. Okay? So an example of that would be a particular guy that I would normally not even see on the street or anything. I'm making this up, but in my instance, it was what's very common with women. We have a list of what a man can and cannot be, what we like and don't like. And oftentimes those are arbitrary ideas based on some fantasy we have going on in our head or what we've been told makes a good man, or Lord knows what a woman got going on. And in my case, I realized that I had made up all these things based on this image in my head that just permeates society of what a man should and should not be. And I remember when I even decided to look at that. This is what I mean. Because before it was just, well, this is what it is. This is what a man should be, shouldn't be. And it was just arbitrary idea of what they should and should not be. Oh, and I decided to, let me look at how I came up with this. And let me actually look at how I'm looking. And I remember being inside this counseling program in San Francisco. And the facilitator being like, because there were 125 people, I think, in this program. And he would be like, so what we're going to do is we're going to deliberately practice looking at people that out in everyday life we would normally not even look at. So just think about when you're just out running your errands, you're out doing things, and I started doing this some years ago. I think today people pay much more attention just because life is so much more tense. But just think about 20 years ago. Okay. And the tension was not, 20 years ago, the tension was not what it is now on the planet. And so, but the point is, just think about when you're out and about, certain people you don't even notice. You might not even notice, if you're not into white men, you might not even notice white men really. Or Vietnamese women. You might not even notice Vietnamese women. You might not even notice short people. You might not even notice, just certain people you don't notice, right? But you don't notice that you don't notice them because you don't notice them. But what happens when you make a decision to pay attention to subtleties is you start noticing things that you don't normally notice. And those things that you don't normally notice is what constitutes your life, your reality, how you move. But because you don't see it, you don't even notice how much the word control, the grip that it has in your life. Anyway, so how to heal sex shame is to begin to notice the subtlety of your body as it relates to what you wear, how you feel about what you wear, how you even feel when you look at something you feel unsafe in, something you wouldn't normally wear. If you are having sex, noticing so many ways to deal in this. Let's say you're married, right? And you are having sex twice a week, right? And if you've been married for a while, you have a way that you just always have sex. It just sort of always, looks the same way. You sort of do things the same way. You could start to notice the subtlety of something that you normally would overlook, right? So that's one way to do it. Let's say you're dating, right? So maybe you are in this phase of you're dating men and you haven't met one yet that you want to have sex with, but you're open to the possibility of it, right? Noticing how you're even processing all that. And without judgment, this is not to beat yourself up about it, but just to notice, even your processing of this man, processing of the way you give him attention, why you give him the attention, why you are the way you are with him. Again, without judgment. This is not to beat yourself up and to get all hyper self-critical. It's just to notice that, I pull back like that because I actually want this kind of feeling and he's not giving me that. I actually am doing this because I just feel tender in this area and I don't want him to see that. But you got to be radically honest. This is a part of healing sexual shame. If you want some hand holding, if you want to work more deeply with me in this inside of a workshop for maybe about 2 hours or so, I'm hosting a workshop called Heal Sex Shame. I can't remember all the dates. What you can do is you can go to the link in my bio and click Workshop Week because there are 3 workshops that I'm hosting. So in this workshop, Heal Sex Shame, it's going to be me, you, and a small group of women focusing on where you currently have shame in your body. Where do you find yourself starting and stopping on your creative projects because of what's going on in your body? Where do you currently potentially have chronic pain in your body? Where do you feel like you want to cover up and hide and not be seen. And you feel wrong and bad for saying the things you actually want to say in your content, and perhaps a book that you're writing, and what you really want to say online. And we're going to look at the nuance of you and so much more. That's why I want you to go to the link in my bio, click Workshop Week, and read the details, because I'll put some details in there. So for people who actually read the page, you can feel, okay? Because this is very much a feeling thing. I'm not talking at you. We're on Zoom. You're very much doing work while we're together to get down into the nuance of you and to be witnessed by a PhD level heal sex shame master such as myself, okay? And to be witnessed by the other women in this space who are doing the same work as you. Healing takes time. And your body has to be very open to healing as well. That's another thing that you may or may not know. But if your body feels safer holding on to shame, it's not going to release the shame. And so part of the value of being in an environment with women who are doing this work deliberately is that you're actually getting the alchemical effect. Because when we're by ourselves, things can feel a lot harder to do. This is why, for those of you who know, you be doing all this work by yourself and you thugging it out all by yourself. And then you end up in a workshop or a retreat or something with other people. And this work that you've been doing for 3 years, it's like you get months and years worth of work done in a couple hours. Why? Because you were able to benefit from the alchemical, energetic impact of being in space with other women who are doing the same. Women who are maybe more receptive than you right now, more willing than you right now, more vast in energy right now that you get to bask in, that you wouldn't be able to bask in if you were by yourself or merely watching somebody in a YouTube video, trying to thug it out by yourself. This is also the alchemical benefit of being in a space with other women who are doing this work. If you are suffering from shame in your body, shame that you know is deep in your mind, and this way that you can't quite pinpoint it, but you can feel it, you can sense it. You find yourself starting and stopping on your most exciting projects. You notice that your excitement for your projects don't last. Like you get going and you're going strong for 2 weeks, maybe 2 months, but then your whole pattern is you fizzle out, and then your self-respect goes down, your fear and anxiety increases. You get more resentful and mad at life, and you really want to deal with this at a core level. And I want to say this at a body level. This is very powerful. And the degree to which your body is ready, your unconscious mind is ready, you're truly ready, is the degree to which you will have rapid transformation during our time together inside of this Heal Sex Shame workshop. You can sign up for the Heal Sex Shame workshop right now by going to the link in my bio and click Workshop Week.